Chapter 645, Sunv. This chapter is updated by novels.pl. Following a long set of stone steps, Zhang Yuochen headed straight down Xixia Sacred Mountain towards Sunv. Sunv was located southwest of Long Living Yard. It was where the compass was pointing. No matter what, Zhang Yuochen had to investigate. Elder brother Lin Yue, wait for me. Zhao Hana dissolved into a fragrant wind and caught up from behind. She landed in front of Zhang Yuochen and blocked his path. She pursed her lips and bowed to him with a very apologetic expression. I'm sorry. Zhang Yuochen glanced at her. He knew very well why she was apologizing. He lightly nodded his head and said, it's fine, you can go back. For Zhao Hana, her misunderstanding of elder brother Lin Yue was a major matter. But for Zhang Yuochen, it was only a small issue. Not even worth thinking about. Seeing that Lin Yue was indifferent toward her, Zhao Hana felt even more hurt. She kept up with him, following closely behind. Zhang Yuochen could see that she was secretly in love with Lin Yue. Since he wasn't the real Lin Yue, he would not encourage Zhao Hana in order to avoid unnecessary trouble. He continued on his way and didn't say anything. The two of them, one in front and one behind, walked down Xixia Sacred Mountain. Zanha saw that he was heading towards Sunv. A hurt expression immediately appeared in her eyes. In a low voice, she asked, Elder brother Lin Yue, are you going to look for senior sister apprentice Hanku again? Zhang Yuochen suddenly stopped, revealing a thoughtful expression. In the depths of his mind, a beautiful figure rose up. Hanku. Which Hanku? Zhang Yuochen also knew Hanku. That had been when he was in Oman Ridge. She was the daughter of the master of the Yuntai suzerain and had a dark physical quality. At that time, he had suggested that she enter the Yin and Yang sect to learn their heavenly ways of Qi. Only by practicing heavenly ways of Qi could one control the dark force in one's body. Otherwise, as her cultivation grew higher and higher, the dark force in her body would also become more and more powerful. It was possible that the swollen dark force would destroy her completely. Perhaps Hanku had really come all the way to God Falling Ridge and entered the Yin and Yang sect. Although Zhao Hana's simple words had brought to his mind memories from many years ago, Zhang Yuochen never thought there would be such a coincidence. There were countless disciples of the Yin and Yang sect. How could he meet Hanku? Based on what Zhao Hana said, Zhang Yuochen could tell that the real Lin Yue knew Hanku. Since he did not have an excuse to go to Sunv. When he heard Zhao Hana words, he immediately nodded and said, yes, I am indeed going to look for junior sister apprentice Hanku. Zhao Hana asked, elder brother Lin Yue, are you not afraid that it will be like the previous few times, and you will have your hands and feet broken by her and then get thrown out of Sunv? Zhang Yuochen was speechless. Although it was very strange, Zhang Yuochen remained composed and said, I am just going to talk to her. Why would she attack me? She doesn't even like you. Why must you still go seeking rejection? Last time, she said that if you dared go to Sunv again she would no longer show any mercy. Zhao Hana said. Zhang Yuochen finally understood. Lin Yue had probably coveted Hanku's beauty and tried to pursue her. The methods he used were probably clumsy and had angered her. Not only had he been unable to capture Hanku's heart, but he had also left a bad impression and suffered a brutal beating from her. In just a short instant, Zhang Yuochen had roughly guessed the situation. Right now, he could only hope that Lin Yue had not made too many enemies, otherwise, his days in the Yin and Yang sect would not be peaceful. Speak of the devil and the devil comes. Zhang Yuochen had just arrived outside Sunv when he heard a sinister and strange voice. Isn't this indoor elder brother Lin Yue of the Long Living Yard? You still dare to come to Sunv? Zhang Yuochen turned around. He saw around a dozen indoor disciples wearing green robes approaching from the distance. A green three-leaf flower was embroidered on their collars and sleeves. It was clear that they were from the Supreme Pure Palace. The three palaces and 72 yards of the Yin and Yang sect held the three palaces in high respect, while the 72 yards were ranked. Overall, the strength of the Long Living Yard was ranked fairly low, 66th out of 72 yards. Although Lin Yue was an indoor elder brother disciple of the Long Living Yard, the disciples of Supreme Pure Palace did not think much of him. One of the leaders was called Pang Long. He looked very young, around his 20s, and was very handsome and at ease. He held a half-meter-long jade flute in his hands and approached Zhang Yuochen, glancing at him scornfully. Zhao Hana assumed a timid expression and pulled on Zhang Yuochen's sleeve, indicating that he should leave quickly and not provoke Pang Long. Zhang Yuochen had come to Sunv because he had business to take care of. He couldn't just leave. We are all disciples of Yin and Yang sect. Why can I not come to Sunv? Zhang Yuochen glanced wordlessly at Pang Long and shook his head. He made straight for the yard gates of Sunv. Pang Long's expression darkened. He had not thought that Lin Yui would be so daring as to disregard him. He still even dared to go to Sunv. Among the indoor disciples of the Yin and Yang sect, Pang Long's strength ranked 3rd. On the heaven board he was ranked 98th. Among the indoor disciples, Lin Yui's overall ranking was 305th. On the heaven board he was ranked below 300,000. Among the indoor disciples, Han Ku's overall ranking was 18th. In addition, she was a disciple of Saint Jin Lan and was a stunning beauty. Naturally, she had many suitors in the Yin and Yang sect. Pang Long and Lin Yui were 2 of them. During the great suzerain competition, Pang Long had taught Lin Yui a vicious lesson. From then on, every time Lin Yui saw Pang Long it was like a mouse seeing a cat. He would immediately go into a panic and run away. Where there was Pang Long, there would not be Lin Yui. Today, however, Lin Yui did not show any sign of fear. Furthermore, he had disregarded the warning and was about to enter Sunv. It looks like Lin Yui has plucked up some courage. How dare he go against elder brother Pang? So it seems. Perhaps he has forgotten elder brother Pang's warning to him last time. Lin Yui doesn't know his place. How dare he come to bother junior sister apprentice Han Ku again? Elder brother Pang, I'll go teach him how to act. Pang Long's status and background were not common. The indoor disciples all did their best to curry favor with him. A young man carrying a golden sword charged forward and quickly caught up with Zhang Yuochen. A teasing smile appeared on his face as he squeezed 2 fingers together. White genuine chi surged out from his fingertips and formed a meter-long genuine chi sword. The man with the golden sword was called Hao Feng. Among the indoor disciples, he was ranked 182nd. He was far stronger than Lin Yui. Swoosh. Hao Feng's movement was very quick. In an instant, he was already behind Zhang Yuochen and stabbing toward the center of his back. Zhang Yuochen stopped and quietly sighed. The trees desire calm but the winds would not stop. With both his feet planted where he stood, Zhang Yuochen did not turn his body. He formed a genuine chi sword and casually swung it behind him. The seemingly casually swung sword actually contained infinitely profound Tao of the sword. Hao Feng's face registered surprise. He felt tens of thousands of sword shadows covering the earth and sky before they surged toward him as if they were going to swallow him up. How is this possible? Hao Feng did not dare to keep charging forward. He immediately withdrew his sword to protect himself. At the same time, he used his footwork and quickly retreated. PFFT. A streak of sword light sliced past Hao Feng's face, leaving a 4 centimeter long wound on his cheek. A drop of fresh blood fell. Zhang Yuochen kept his back to him. Dissipating the genuine chi sword, he lightly said, "That strike was a small punishment to deter further misdeeds. If there is a next time, don't blame me for not showing mercy." Hao Feng was shocked by the power of Zhang Yuochen's strike. Rooted to the spot, his eyes were dazed, and it was clear that he had not realized what had happened. From afar, Pang Long had not seen the profoundness in Zhang Yuochen's strike. He only saw Zhang Yuochen swinging out casually with his sword to break Hao Feng's sword technique. Furthermore, the tip of the genuine chi sword had also sliced open Hao Feng's face. An indoor disciple smiled and teasingly said, "Hao Feng, have you been preoccupied with cuddling your pretty junior sister apprentices and have completely forgotten your sword techniques?" Hao Feng took a deep breath and gradually came back to his senses. His expression became solemn and he said, "Lin Yui's strength is not that simple. It seems that he has become much stronger." "What's not simple?" "I think you just underestimated him, which is why he broke your sword technique." Pang Long said in a cold voice. Swoosh. Pang Long demonstrated a marvelous bodily movement. His figure flashed and dissolved into a series of human shadows and then stopped in front of Jiang Yuochen. He did not believe that Lin Yue's cultivation could rise to a level that could defeat Hao Feng in such a short time. Pang Long's gaze was cold as his eyes looked over Jiang Yuochen. Disdainfully, he laughed and said, "Do you know what kind of person I find the most annoying?" Jiang Yuochen frowned and asked, "What kind of person?" "Those who don't know their own strengths." Pang Long smiled and said, "Lin Yue, you've been quite famous recently. I even heard that you killed Dark Blue Emissary of the Black Market Excellence Hall. Do you think that you've already made your name, and now you want to show off in front of junior sister apprentice Han Ku?" "Unfortunately, no one will believe that you killed Dark Blue Emissary. They would only feel that you are an idiot being used by someone." The news of Lin Yue killing Dark Blue Emissary had indeed gotten back to the Yin and Yang sect, and it had caused a great sensation. However, everyone knew that Lin Yue's cultivation was only at the completion of the Heaven Realm, so no one believed that he had the ability to kill Dark Blue Emissary. Everyone was more willing to believe that Dark Blue Emissary had died due to the internal conflict among the upper echelons of the black market. As for Lin Yue, he must have been used by one of the factions of the black market to take the blame for killing Dark Blue Emissary. Such a person, was he not an idiot?